Hello. Picture this. Night sky, completely open, stars shining, the rough trumble of a pickup truck, shocks engaging, bouncing up and down over uneven ground, driving out through a barren plain towards a large rock plateau. Bouncing around, the headlights on, lighting the way as they go. Late middle-aged woman, done up, nice makeup, hair back in a ponytail, driving out with like nice kind of almost like a business casual attire, very put together and everything. And 4 kids of various ill repute, all crammed into the back as it's bouncing up and down, and you hear the kick of an off-roading motorcycle jump in and then start cruising in and move alongside of the pickup truck. Hello, welcome to DFKM, our very first campaign from Friends with Dice. I'm going to take a moment to allow everybody to introduce themselves around the table. Just some words up front. Today we are going to be playing Monsterhearts, a Monsterhearts campaign created by the great, the wonderful Avery Alder. It is a fun narrative campaign story about like supernatural teens being angsty and fun. But when you're dealing with teenagers and angst and supernatural, it can get heavy and triggering for all kinds of things. This will be, adult content that will be, I want everybody to take care of themselves, and that's the biggest thing. We at the table have all already had many discussions around safety and what's good, what's not good, what we are acquiescing to at the table. If at any point those lines are crossed, because sometimes you don't know your boundaries until you hit them, we have a system in place which is suggested by the Monsterhearts campaign rules called the X card. So everybody's just going to throw up an X, and you will never see that. That will never be for the light of day. That will just be edited out, cut. No one will ever hear from it again. And we will have many conversations about how people were feeling about it, and apologies will be made, and all those beautiful things will happen. This all to say, we have acquiesced to that, but you haven't acquiesced to that. So make sure you're taking care of yourself. If you need to take a break, take a break. And if you want any more information about this, we can direct you to our tutorial content, which covers a lot of these things. The one specifically about what I'm talking about right now would be the Protect Your Heart content, which is also a chapter in the fantastic rule set, again, found at Buried Without Ceremony, which is Avery Alder's website. So with that, I will turn it over to our team to introduce themselves and tell or say who the character they're playing, but the description of the character will come in the moment. Meagan, why don't you start off?
Yeah, I'm Meagan. I'm going to be playing CJ, also known as Catherine Jane, though no one calls her that except Mother Jeanette.
And Aiden? Or Cal?
Hello, I'm Cal, and I will be playing Aiden, who is a dark and broody young man who had just had the shittiest summer of his life.
Beautiful. And Kyle?
Hi, I'm Kyle. I'm going to be playing Graham. Less brooding, almost relatively optimistic for a dead person. So.
And cut it off with the Queen.
Hey, my name is Anjelica, and I'm going to be playing Lilith Hallows, a queen in every sense of the word.
Okay, amazing. And with that, we're going to just jump right in, get back to it. For all of the session building content and all of the different things that came to us creating this, you can check out our tutorial content or join us on Patreon, where we have some exclusive stuff there that go into our whole process in making this. As I think it's very, like, should not go without saying that part of the Monsterhearts rules goes into the actual character creation and the, like, making your room and everything like that. I don't want to understate how great that is and how well thought out those rules and how much it goes into creating worlds and really helping people get those creative juices flowing. We're not going to be demonstrating that here right now. We're going to go straight into the story. But we do have supportive supplementary content to give you a taste of that juice. So, CJ, you are presently in the back of a pickup truck, Mama Jeanette's pickup truck, only ever used when going on your family quarterly camping trips. And kind of audaciously, as you're sitting in the back of the pickup, your two siblings in the actual bed of the truck, you see AJ, Asher, your brother, pull up on an off-roading motorcycle, which you've never really, I don't know if you've seen him on before, or at least you've never seen him on it where Mama Jeanette would see him on it.
Immediately jealous. I'm so upset that I have to sit in the passenger seat and he gets to off-road. Immediately, just like, fuck you.
You want to go into a description of your character now, and maybe your siblings as well, as everything's going on?
Yeah, so CJ is a senior in high school. She's on the rugby team. She's been on the rugby team since the beginning. So her body, she's constantly scratched up, scraped up. She's got dirt under her nails. She's got grass stains on most of her clothing. Her rugby bag, which is always near her, is patched up with duct tape and hockey tape. She's got sort of pin straight dishwater blonde hair, often thrown into a ponytail just to get it out of the way. More often than not, dressed in some sort of flannel and t-shirt combo, flannel and crop top combo. Yeah, and in the passenger seat of the car, I think after like clocking AJ showing up on his motorcycle, she sort of returns to her phone where she has, she's rereading a text conversation between herself and Lilith, where Lilith hasn't responded, even though CJ might have sent her a couple of messages in the weeks since the party.
Beautiful. I absolutely love that. So yeah, you're in the back of the pickup, bouncing around, air kind of blowing past you. You see Asher pull up. A few minutes go by, and you end up pulling up to where you often have your family camping trip. The pickup stops. Mother Jeanette gets out of the car, briefly like undoes her ponytail and kind of lets her hair out a little bit, goes down. It's like graying blonde hair as it kind of goes down. Her like ornate jewelry and her kind of business casual pantsuit that is a little odd in camping attire comes out. Your siblings come out. Asher pulls up on his motorcycle. His like shortcut hair, kind of rough done. He has like permanent moons under his eyes. Gets up and he's like, "Hey everybody, yeah, sorry I was a little late. You know, how's it going?" Mother Jeanette just kind of like nods. Asher goes up to you and kind of says hi, and you hear a crack, and Asher hits the ground, dead. And you see Mama Jeanette with a baseball bat that she pulled from the back of the truck. And she stands
Is
there
this
for a moment.
normal behavior for our camping trips?
It's not
I know that our
abnormal.
camping trips are weird.
Yeah, it's not unnormal.
Okay. I retract my facial expression.
a few moments pass, and Asher, and he gets up, and then Mama Jeanette leans over him with the baseball bat, and she was like, "You think you can go around town embarrassing me like this? You think you can go around shooting off, dealing drugs, revving your engine at 2 a.m.? You think it's not going to get back to me? You think that I'm not going to know when you embarrass me like this?" I had to go to a parent-teachers conference the other day, and apparently you kept up the Mikowskis at 2 a.m. revving your engine. I don't want to hear this. This is embarrassing. You embarrass me.
CJ snorts against her will, and she's like...
And then she just immediately, like, raises the bat to you, and then stands up, and then throws the bat in the back of the truck.
I've been so good this time.
She walks over to the plateau, just kind of by the edge of a plateau, and waits for you all to kind of gather around like you usually do.
I grab Callum by the scruff of his shirt and pull him up.
Yeah, he comes along.
Shut up.
Yeah, you want to give a brief description of your other three siblings?
Yeah. So Asher is the same age as CJ. The two of them are kind of like the closest in the family. Younger than them, junior in high school, is Hannah. She is preppy, a delight to be around, the antithesis of CJ, if there ever was one. Daniel, who's a year younger than Hannah, is sort of like the brains. He is smart, sciencey, very technical, top scores in math and science and chemistry, and is kind of like the academic of the family. And Callum, the youngest, Callum Jack, is personally CJ's nemesis. The two of them is the worst little brother in human existence, according to her. Vastly different. They don't, none of the siblings in Mother Jeanette's family look alike. We've all been sort of adopted or taken in by her over the course of our lives.
Beautiful. You all gather around in, the typical fashion. You all know what's kind of going on. Asher kind of quickly pulls like an oil rag out of his bag and starts like rubbing the blood off of his head. And then you can kind of see the kind of rough outline where you can see like his skull and some of the flesh. And you see it slowly starting to knit back together.
I like lean over to him and be like, "I thought you were supposed to be the smart one in the family."
And then he just kind of...
I'm usually the one that gets hit at these things, so...
And then he leans over while he was going, and he was like, "I was doing something. I was late. It was my bad."
Well, we're off to a great start, aren't we?
Oh, new year, new us.
Uh-huh.
And you stand around Mother Jeanette, and she just kind of like briefly mutters to herself and then drops a coin, and it kind of flips almost like it's moving through water instead of air as it's like flowing down, and then it hits the ground, and then dust shoots up, and Callum is just kind of talking to his brother Daniel, just briefly. It's just very casual. The dust shoots up. Large, rocky arms come up from the ground and start grabbing onto the rock face and then moving almost like in a clockwork fashion, like a gear on the wall, starts pulling this platform up, and you all stand as the ground pulls itself up and it starts climbing up to the rock face as you're all standing there looking at the sky and seeing like the Colorado plains like break up before you, and you can see the base of the mountain where you live, the upper mountain where you live and where you've driven down from. And you can see the trees and the national park and everything like that spreading as you're just like right on the edge of the Colorado Plateau. And you're taking it in, and it's against everything and against the terrible welcoming to the evening that is typical and all the more terrible because of it. It is a beautiful night, and you kind of hear your brother kind of like rubbing the back of his head lightly. I think Asher just kind of puts his arm around you and just takes in the moment, and he kind of leans his head on his sister's head as they're kind of going in. And you finally reach the top, and the rock face kind of like halts. And as you turn around, you can see where this rock face was like on the ground, like on lower down on the plateau. It now actually is like smooth, like this edge has always been here. And you walk off on the top of the plateau, and you see Mama Jeanette stamps her foot very lightly, and dust around the circumference of this this upper plateau circles, and you can see the very typical insignia that illuminates and brightens up the night sky, and you can see all of the different geometric patterns that occur out here. You all take your typical places as you're standing. You're each standing in like a pentagon. Not pentagon? Hexagon.
6 of us, yes.
No, yeah, pentagon. Yep, hexagon. One of them.
Hexagon.
Hexagon. Yeah. I was right to correct myself.
We're not here for numbers.
Take it up with the Greeks. You sit in your different points. Mother Jeanette stands in the center, does her typical speech and ritual into the night sky. It's an unknown language to you, and she kind of like opens her arms out. As she opens her arms out, her business suit elongates as if it turns into like this long flowing lace robe, and it kind of explodes out from her as she opens her arms, and she starts speaking to the night sky. And you all very like, some of you like Daniel, Callum very like passionately pull out like a dagger and cut their hands. Hannah just kind of like does like a little prick.
Yeah.
And you and
CJ fully cuts off a finger, but she rolls her eyes when she does it. She's like, I hate this. We have to do this every fucking quarter.
Do you use
every
like
year.
a cigar cutter or something?
Yes, obviously. That's so gross, but obviously yes.
And then you like use it to light a cigar as you're kind of going.
I don't think CJ smokes. That's way too classy for CJ. CJ does not smoke cigars. No, she rolls the shittiest. She smokes the shittiest hand roll joints possible. They're all crumpled and bent and sad.
Is it exclusively joints, or is it like cloves?
Oh, definitely also cloves. Just like
Definitely
this
also cloves. Sickening.
Yeah. But yeah, she'll do it. But she's kind of like, I hate this part.
I think Asher just kind of like dabs on the back of his head and like wrings out the rag on the top, and the blood goes down. She continues like the incantation, and the light all springs up, and you can see over the mountain, like almost as if like the starlight that's like shining down hangs on the side of the mountain ever so slightly more. And that time passes. You all get back together, load up in the pickup truck, and spend the evening in a motel to keep up the facade of camping, before you start your next day, your first day at school.
Just as they're going to sleep for the night in the motel, with balancing her phone on a hand that is missing a pinky, CJ like attaches a photo that she took from the top of the mountain, like she like Snapchat, like whatever, took a photo, but instead of sending, she hasn't heard from Lilith I think in a while, so she sends it to Andrea instead, which is who she was talking to previously. And she goes, what a beautiful sky, like not as beautiful as you are. I can't wait to see you tomorrow, or I can't wait to see you on Monday. And then goes to sleep.
I love it so much. Amazing. Okay. So you go to sleep. Then we cut to a large mansion, very classical in architecture, very like rich colonial kind of vibes through it. Very ritzy, big bay windows that definitely lead out to a very ornate dining room that leads onto then a garden and topiary and all of the things. Lilith, do you want to give a brief description of Hallows Haunt, which is the named estate of the Hallows family?
Yeah. So, like you said, massive mansion, a lot of like land, like sprawling land, and there's a lot of forest around it. You see like this big main house in the middle, which is the family's house, and then there's like a little path off to the side, and down that road there's like another smaller house, but like just as bougie and just as elegant. And I think we said it was like on a cliff face, and that's where the pool was hanging off. So there's this like infinity pool in the back, and if you go to the edge of it, you see all of the Colorado mountains.
Beautiful, beautiful. What do you think Lilith is doing the first day of the last day of high school?
So she
Last year,
is,
sorry.
yes, I think she is taking her time to pick out the perfect outfit, like making crazy demands from all of the people that work in the house of like what to make for breakfast, like which car to take to school, like all of these details that mean nothing mean so much to her right now. And I picture her like just sitting in like this like I don't know what it's called, but like I call them like fainting couches. Those big
Yeah, absolutely.
cushion fainting couches in the middle of her walk-in, just like, oh, I don't know what to wear.
So what, give us a description of this closet. Like what's the closet situation for Lilith?
So it's more of a room than a closet. Has a couple of like there's pillars in each corner, and each like section of the room has like different styles of outfits for like different occasions. So like, her school outfits, like her outfit she has to wear when she's like out with her families on like the campaign trail. There's like swimsuits, there's like formal dresses, like very organized, and of course there's like another closet for shoes. So we're not even in the shoe closet right now. But it's very dark. So like I picture like dark wallpaper, maybe with like some ornate like etchings of like vines, and a little bit of like purple specks because purple is her favorite color and like the Hallows family color.
Very cool. So you're like, I have nothing to wear. One of your staff comes in with like a plate of eggs Benedict and orange juice, and it's on like this little trolley that is like coming into your room, with like these really fancy trolley cart wheels so they don't get snagged on carpet and stuff. So it's like off-roading trolley cart wheels. And
Off-roading?
And then it like just comes right into you. She hits a little latch so the trolley cart actually lowers down, so it's like right beside you while you're like laying back on the fainting couch. And Eliza, who is one of your staff, is like, is there anything else I can get for you, Miss Hallows?
Eliza, do you really think I have time to eat an eggs Benedict right now? Like, do you even know what day it is? It's my first day of my last day of school. I have no time for this.
I'm terribly sorry, Lady Hallows. I'm the kitchen was told that last night you demanded eggs Benedict when you woke up in the morning. But of course, if that's not your taste right now, I will be happy to get you something quicker. Are we thinking like a health shake or
Yes, obviously a shake. And of
okay?
course I changed my mind. Like, I don't understand why you guys don't even think about all the stress that I'm under. Please, just like, I want a shake.
Yes, of course. It is absolutely on us. I'm so sorry that we couldn't have thought of that. We will absolutely get that shake ready for you, and it will be momentarily. And she clicks the cart up, she wheels it out. You hear the ding of the elevator as she rolls the cart onto the elevator and continues down back to the kitchen. Sorry.
I think she's just gonna roll her eyes again and like faint so dramatically on the stupid couch.
Cool. What is Lilith's kind of plan for right now? If she's like in this kind of state of like, what am I gonna do? Is she gonna like connect with her clique or anything like that, or like just gonna kind of be
No,
in it for a moment?
nobody can know this side of Lilith that's like anxious. Like that's only for her. Everybody else sees like a very confident, like put together person. So she would not be reaching out to her clique. I think she's just gonna have her little freak out and then probably just like resort to a very like staple Lilith outfit of a big like kimono like I'm wearing right now that's like floor length and like high waisted pants and just like I don't know like a little shirt like just something very flowy, very dark and like a little bit regal.
Cool. I think as you kind of come out and are like just not ready to greet the day, like the moment before, Thorin, your brother, is just kind of like leaning in your doorway. He's just like, "Hey, kiddo, you ready for your first day? You gonna get out
Don't
there?"
call me kiddo. What are you doing in here? Get out.
Well, I'm not in. Like I'm in the doorway. I'm not in anywhere.
She's gonna run
Technically.
to the door and shut it with her.
We all get nervous on first days. It happens to everybody.
I'm not nervous. She's gonna yell through. She's gonna yell so anxiously through the door.
And you hear Thorin take off, and with that, what's the car you pick out to drive to the school?
It's gonna be the white Ferrari I got for my 18th birthday.
Okay, cool. Lilith 4 custom plates.
Of course.
Very good. With that, you take off. Are you picking anybody up, or are you just arriving solo? Or
I think I'll probably pick up Andrea, like my right hand person.
okay, cool. You go drive by Andrea's house. It's also in the estates. It's not very far. Um, Andrea's father is one of the C levels at Hallows Inc., which is the mining company within the town. You want to give a brief, kind of like from your point of view, description of like your family and kind of how they are the royalty of Hollow Springs.
So the Hallows family, yeah, we control basically the whole town because we own a mining company, very powerful in all of the social circles and the public eye because of this. And that's how Lilith grew up. She is one of 3 children, so she has her oldest brother Thorin, who is I think he's like I said he's the CRO of the mining company, the right-hand man to his father, Bradley, who is the CEO. Her mother is Clarissa. She was the CFO of the mining company for a really, really long time, but now she is retired and acting as a consultant for the company, and now she's doing more like philanthropic ventures throughout the town. So she throws a lot of events and works with the community a lot. After Thorin, he's the youngest one. There's a middle child, Burke. He's the COO of the Hallows family mining business. He's way more like in the trenches or like is actually on site and stuff than my dad. And Thorin, he's more chill. He lives in like the other wing of the house. I have one wing of the house, and that little house down the path from our house that I mentioned in the beginning is actually Thorin's. He built that for himself because he didn't want to live in the house anymore. When he got too old, when he got too good for the house, he built his own.
And just like on a scale of 1 to 10, how cut is Thorin?
Oh, 20.
Yeah, to be clear,
Literally.
Thorin is delicious.
Yes. So I named him Thorin. Does everyone know Thorin Bradley on Instagram? I don't know if I can even say this. He's this lumberjack dude. He just posts photos. Yes, Megan. And videos of him like cutting down trees, cutting down wood, and his name is Thorin, and they call him Thor. That
Bradley,
is who
we have to collab. It has to
we
happen.
have to collab.
It
Yeah.
officially has to happen. That reminds me. Okay, so I'm sorry, everybody. We might cut this. We might not. On a tangent, on TikTok, there is this woman that goes into like lumberjacking and chopping wood and stuff like that, and she started doing it like very much for like female lesbian gays. And it got to the point that one woman did like a stitch and she was like, can you name your next one like my name kind of a thing? And then she did it. And then they started like cross stitching each other. And I want them to get together so bad.
Oh my gosh.
God.
Wait, is it the girl with the sword, the cutting sword?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I love her.
Love her so much. We're probably going to keep this up. Okay.
Just at them.
Just at them. Oh, by the
Tag
way.
them at this time.
This thing that you're not connected to at all and probably don't understand.
100% the response is going to be, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Who are these people?
They open it,
We're just
kids
obsessed,
getting
it's fine.
bludgeoned with a hammer, getting killed.
Oh my God, so good.
My question is Thorin Hallows as tattooed as his Instagram namesake?
Oh no, he's too
Yeah.
clean for that.
Yeah, I think the Hallows family in general tend to have a visage of clean cut.
But it's all under
cut.
the shirt, so you wouldn't know.
Oh,
That would be pretty hot.
Just every so often, like he has a couple drinks, his button goes down one more, and then you see the edging of like, yeah. Woo!
Get a little hot.
Oh my God.
Ew, that's my brother.
Let's
Okay.
talk about your brother more. Okay, you pick up Andrea. She's in a car. She's like, "Hey, how are you doing? I know like you've been really busy for the past week, but like, have you heard from Troy? Like,
Why would I hear from Troy? We're broken up.
right? But you know, he took it pretty hard, and you know, I was just making sure you were okay. Like maybe you showed up or something like that, or like I don't think anybody's really heard from him since the party.
Well, that's kind of his problem now. Like I said, we're broken up.
Yeah. What about that guy that got into that he got into a fight with? Like, did you talk to him? Like, is he okay?
Oh, I kind of talked to him after, but I don't know. He's like kind of weird. He's really hot, but he's kind of weird.
Well, you heard what like everybody was saying about him, right? Like, it's pretty sus, some of the stuff, right? Like, I know Troy was like out of line, and it's just like, you know, alliteration aside, Killer Kid is pretty rude.
Killer Kid's pretty hot.
Okay, all right, yeah, you like what you like. I'm gonna cut in quickly and ask Aiden. Aiden, would you have texted Lilith after the party?
Oh, hell no.
Okay. Cool.
He would not have initiated that.
Cool.
Would Lilith have the means to like get his number?
Lilith has the means to get anything.
You're right. Literally gonna ask that question.
If she did text him, he might have responded, but he would not have initiated.
I think actually never mind. No. Lilith is not gonna be the first one to reach out. Who are we getting?
Cool.
So you are continuing on with Andrea. Andrea kind of takes it as like, okay, we're not going to talk about Troy now. And she just kind of like quickly goes like on her phone for a bit. You hear a soft, and then she puts her phone away. And you continue to school.
When I hear that little like reaction, can I use my what's it called? My streaming?
Yes, you can use your streaming. You want to give a quick description of streaming to the audience?
I will.
Since we're presently streaming for 2 lumberjacks.
I wish. Oh my god.
Oh my god,
And
I would
one
be so
day they see even one of them, I would be so happy. So the queen has this move called streaming, and I'll just read it really quick. You have a telepathic connection with your gang members. You can always hear their emotions and fears. If I try to hear a specific thought, I can gaze into the abyss about it and roll. But I just kind of have a passive telepathic connection to them. My gang right now is like it's like my clique. So there are 3 people in it. So Andrea, Georgia, and Raina. So
Perfect.
Once I hear Andrea's reaction, I'm just gonna use my little streaming to just
Perfect.
like hear their emotions.
Love it. And just before we continue, everybody, we have a lot of like the nitty gritty and the little bits to do with Monsterhearts we have in our tutorial content. We want to keep the story flowing. We'll stop specific points like we just did to be like, hey, this is what we're doing. You know, our trap card has been activated, and kind of try to flesh it out as we're going. But if you're a little bit like, hey, you know, what are these actions that you're doing and things like that, we're going to try to stop, but we're going to try to keep the flow going as much as possible. And then we have our supplementary series. Megan, what did we call our supplementary series again?
Fail forward.
Fail forward, because we, like everybody that wants to be successful in the world in healthy, productive ways, failing forward is the way to do it, in my personal opinion. So use streaming. When you use streaming on Andrea, you get a peak of like excitement, and then immediate fear, and then like very concentrated like leveling off. So it's like if I were to do it through exhaust, through just air movement, which I think is very expressive. So you continue to school. With that, this white Ferrari screaming down the Colorado forested roads, we will hand over to Aiden. Aiden, first day back at school after the worst summer of your life. What are you feeling? What are you thinking? What's gonna be on the agenda? What are you doing as you wake up?
I don't think he slept, or maybe like a little bit, maybe a few minutes here and there, but mostly just like lying in bed, dreading the next day, having to go back and see everybody again. So just like alarm goes off, immediately hits it because he's already awake, just staring up at the ceiling. Like fully dressed, like he got up already and was feeling anxious, so started getting ready way too early. Went lay back down again, hoping to grab a few more minutes before having to get up, but not happening. I think probably smoked the last of the weed that he got from Asher. looks at his phone. There's, I think, a few texts from Hannah trying to like make plans to go in like together. So like give him support on the way in. And he's just going to scroll past those and text Asher and say that he needs a re-up.
Yeah, you immediately get a message back from Asher, and he's like, happy to. We're in that weird state where I'm a little uncomfortable going gratis from here out.
I'll text back, yeah, I can get you the money. How much?
And then he just gives you like a very like lowball number, and it's very attainable.
Okay.
I don't frequent drug dealing, so I don't know what those numbers are. But they are.
Let me tell you. No, I'm kidding.
Let me pull out a price card.
Let me look at my credit card receipts.
But they're good.
Is cannabis legal in Colorado?
Cannabis is legal in Colorado, not for you.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. You're a child. No, there's a cannabis store in the main town called Mountain Air that supplies for the town.
All right.
I love that everybody loves that name.
Yeah.
Cool. So you get that message back. You kind of get ready. Do a quick description of yourself, like what you look like and all.
Yeah. So Aiden is kind of intense and intense looking. He's wearing a lot of like dark clothing. His t-shirt is like a little too tight. His pants are a little too loose, as though he'd recently gained some weight, not like muscle weight. He recently just put on, he just weirdly got hot in the past couple months without really trying. He doesn't need to, like, he used to wear glasses and doesn't really need them anymore, kind of like that Peter Parker situation, except we're cutting right to the like black suit version of him. He's got kind of like messy, uncombed hair. It's kind of swept over his face, and his eyes look a little haunted. Yeah.
Perfect. Love it. So you have your restless night's sleep. You get up. You text Asher. He says he'll find you at school today.
Yeah.
And make sure you get up. You get up. Was that what the cool kids say? Yeah, it's
Sure.
Cool. Yeah, I'm super hip and rad.
I'm not a cool kid.
So you, the idea of describing cool high school kids from somebody that did not attend high school. So is there anything else that you kind of do? You get up in the morning, you probably get greeted by your parents. Let's give a brief description of like your family and kind of like their situation within the town.
Sure. So his parents are, his dad's named Terrence, his mom is Janine, and then does Iris, his sister, live with them? Or would she have her own place?
I think Iris did have her own place, but has been staying there quite frequently this summer.
Right.
Like spending a lot of time around the house just to kind of be present and support everybody because your parents are great, but not necessarily the most emotionally aware humans. They aren't as emotionally aware, and your sister kind of knows that, so she's been like around a lot more.
Yeah.
And definitely been like either crashing on the couch or probably in her own.
She probably has her, yeah. Like his mom and dad are like superficially good parents. I think they try to do the right thing, but there's just like that kind of lack of connection. Their last name is Coleman, and they were historically the most influential family in town because they were the original owners of the mining company before the Hallows came and sort of supplanted them and took all that away. So there's a little bit of tension historically between these two families. So I think he goes down to the kitchen, and his parents are sitting there kind of waiting for him because they probably expect that he's kind of not looking forward to today.
And your sister is probably still sitting there. She's having like an egg sandwich, sitting there, and she was like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing? How'd you sleep?"
Great. Yep. Good.
And I think she just kind of like looks at like the bags under your eyes and kind of like, "Okay, you need anything? We got some nice breakfast ready up for you."
I'm not really hungry. I'll probably grab something later.
Okay, well, make sure you take your lunch and everything's good. And then your dad kind of comes in very brusquely, and he's like, "Oh, Aiden, yeah,
Dad, it's so early." What?
Sorry, well, 6 a.m. comes early. So I've been, grinding away. Well, like, the Memorial Festival is just around the corner, so we kind of got to get all our ducks in a row to make sure we aren't slammed by those Hallows ingrates as much as we always are. But I think your sister is planning, and then your sister's just kind of like, "Dad." Or she's like, "Dad, could you put the kettle on?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, sure." And then she's just like, as soon as your dad tries to engage with you, she asks him to do something else, as he's kind of going. I'm not super hungry right now, but I might want to pick something up for lunch. Can I borrow like $20-$30? Yeah. And then your sister actually says, "Yeah." She's like, "Yeah," and then she just pulls out 50, and gives it to you.
Nice.
She's like, "Whatever you need, bud."
Thank you. I'll see you later. Are you sticking around still?
Yeah. I'll be around. I have to go into the office later today and work on next year's campaign and do some initial prep and stuff like that. And then, so you don't need to know my itinerary. Yes, I'm going to be in the office, but I'll be back later today. But if you want to meet for lunch, I can swing by the school and grab you or something like that if you want to do that.
Yeah, maybe I'll text you.
You text me? Okay. No, that sounds good. I'm on call.
All right.
I love you.
You too.
Meagan loses it. How dare you not respect your sister?
Say I love you back. I know you did eventually, but it took a while. Also, I can't believe you're going to spend her money to buy weed.
Whatever gets you through.
I was so impressed by that. If Lilith saw this, she'd be like, "Oh, okay, killer kid."
I know. Okay, and you take off to catch the bus for school.
I think rather than taking the bus, he'd bike down just to be alone. And then again, looking at his phone, seeing that Hannah's texting, being like, "Hey, do you want to take the bus? Do you want to bike over together?" And just ignoring and going on his own.
Trekking along?
Yeah.
Cool. And with that, we'll cut across to Graham. How's your first day back? Feels kind of going.
I think, a little bit like Aiden. Graham still adjusting a lot to the changes over the summer. Debatable whose summer was more traumatic, I guess. Maybe just different kinds of trauma.
Different.
But yeah, Graham's definitely... Graham is kind of short and small for his age, so looks, often mistaken for even a couple of years younger sometimes than the rest of the year group. Just mop of dark hair, So pale, just so pale. And is just like lying on top of an otherwise perfectly made bed in the morning, fully dressed, washed out jeans, just like grey hoodie, worn to shit. We doing swearing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Swear away.
Reverend sworn yet. And just a rotation of like different band t-shirts that all have that look of black band t-shirt that eventually just sort of becomes this weird sort of like non-black grey colour, losing all its character gradually. Graham has sort of like a little bit like deer in the headlights kind of eyes that look scattered until he pulls up his headphones, hits play on his phone, and some soothing music starts to play. I'm not sure how much Graham has been sleeping either. Not so much out of the same anxiety and stress as Aiden probably, but just is not really sure if he needs to or not. Doesn't really feel sleepy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just kind of waiting until it's time to go to school, because not much happens at Graham's house.
Yeah, nothing really happens in Graham's house. What's Graham's last name again?
I had that Smith written down for just the blindest name.
Okay.
But I don't think there's a history of smithing in the family.
Mm-hmm.
Not for a long time, at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, you leave your room, the Smith household. I think you see like a little note next to a paper bag with your lunch on it in the fridge that says like, "Have a good first day, love you." Then it's all just set up for you. Your parents probably left for work way early, so they are up early and at it. So you have that to greet the day. You did make a few new acquaintances with like your recent changes, and you did have an interesting encounter with them at your first party, which was very eventful.
Huge.
Do you like message anybody or anything in your first time?
I think Graham's definitely like reached out to Aiden. I don't know if he would have heard back, but like just a couple of texts being like, kind of like, "Hey, that party was crazy. Hope you're doing good. Looking for another one, like looking forward to school. Maybe not. I don't know."
But this would be primarily to CJ, or would it be to Imra?
I think them like
or Lexi
the more like no, these are to Aiden. I think.
Okay.
He may be. I don't even know if he would have been brave enough to ask for CJ's number, but
would CJ just give her number? Lexi might, because sorry.
It would never occur to CJ to give her number out to someone. Like I think that their little like whirlwind supernatural was like so fun and everything, and then immediately left her brain as soon as like Graham stopped appearing in front of her.
Yeah, I think like in the couple of weeks in between, Graham probably would have like seen CJ somewhere in town, like like down the street or something, and be like, oh, like ready to wave as soon as eye contact was established, and just like CJ's doing their own thing probably.
Devastating. Absolutely devastating. It'd be open, like Lexi might give you her number from the party, as she was kind of like making sure you were okay.
Yeah.
Like Imra didn't actually make it to the party, but Lexi was there and she was kind of like watching.
Yeah. I think Graham maybe like thinks about texting Lexi, but leaves out.
Leaves it. Yeah. So Aiden, would you respond to Graham? Yeah, I think so. Nothing like. Yeah, like just kind of a cursory, like, "Hey, thanks, I'm good." Cool. So Graham, have your paper bag of, I'm gonna say, tuna fish sandwich, with a little juice box in it, ready for your day.
Such an infant. Baby boy Graham.
Oh, I think it's also your parents, and it's.
it's like your parents are very busy and they're doing their thing. They're like exhausted, like at their limit kind of a thing. And they're doing that thing that I think parents do when they're like going hard for like 5-6 years and they don't realize that that's the most of their child growing up. So they're like, oh, grandma loves tuna, like give him his tuna sandwich as his first day kind of a thing. And it's like you're not 6 anymore.
I mean, still tuna. That's also
Tuna's so good.
I think my parents like survive on routine, so I think I've had tuna sandwiches on Mondays for the past like decade of school.
Yeah.
It's just
Absolutely.
something comforting about it.
Yeah. So you get the bus pulls up. You get on the bus. You kind of like walk back. What kind of? You're just looking for the first open seat, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I think so. Unless I guess Fatima is one of my friends. I don't see Aiden, obviously. Unless there's like any other kids from like band there, maybe.
I think you sit down, and then probably like a couple stops down the road, Fatima gets on, and she's just kind of like, "Oh, Graham, I didn't really get to see you this summer. How are you?"
Good, I guess.
Yeah, you're good. I know. I've been away. I was at band camp. So
yeah, how was it? I'm jealous.
It was life changing.
I had to go to the stupid Hallows camp again.
Right? Yeah. Well, your sister something's there, right?
Yep. She's all over it. Yeah. No, it was like I met some cool. I went to a party.
You went to a party?
I know. Lilith? Lilith's like.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Graham, I know Lilith.
Yeah.
You went to Lilith's party? You went to a party with? You were invited to Lilith's party?
I mean, I think so.
You think you were invited? Well, you were there.
Well,
so... Did you crash Lilith's party? Are you okay? Is she gonna kill you?
I'm still not sure she knows I exist, but
Okay.
No, I went with like the girls from the rugby team, Lexi and CJ and stuff.
Yeah.
I went with them.
Oh. Cool. So you're like friends with CJ and Lexi and stuff?
I don't know. Like they look really nice. I mean, CJ's kind of
They do look
crazy,
really
but...
nice.
I see.
Oh,
See
what?
that.
No, that's what you said.
What?
What?
Okay, tell me about that.
Anyway, yeah. And that kind of continues as you're going through. And let's stop there. Intermission. Listen to our sponsors if we have any, or just like we put the YouTube commercials here. And we'll be back for our intermission, and we'll take our half an hour break now. And because this is, I think, a good stopping point. And everybody have a good break.
Yeah. You guys are all awesome, by the way. That was so fun to watch.
Yeah, that was fun.
Thank you.
It's so good.
It's good. It's good. Also, I love Fatima.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me more people to flirt with. Yes.
Yeah. CJ's the whole reason for being.
Wait, did you?
Smoking weed and flirting with girls.
Yeah. Just give me a bad nerd to break.
Hello, welcome back, everybody. Sorry, we're a little bit rowdy today. So yes, first day at school. Everybody comes. I think Graham, you're pulling up on the bus and kind of like. Oh wait, no, we haven't done CJ. We haven't done CJ's more because I got all mistaken because we started with CJ, but we did have to come back to CJ. Okay, so refresh. CJ.
Yes.
How do you start your day waking up?
Yeah.
I think you're probably waking up, in the motel, probably too early.
She
Kicked
doesn't
out
sleep
of
that much.
Yeah.
I think she doesn't sleep that much, but she is like resolutely staying in bed until Asher will like physically get her out of bed. She'll like be like she's been awake for hours, but she's like, I'm not gonna get up until someone makes me get up. But I think if the option presents itself, she would go to school with Asher instead of taking any sort of like transit.
So, is there anything you do like that night?
I send a salacious selfie to Andrea from like the motel bathroom or something, and like a mirror shot of her like flexing or something, and then tapes her finger back together with like KT tape or something, so she's got like her pinky is like wrapped in KT tape, and then sends I think it sends a quick text to Lexi, being like, I still have my spot on the team, right? Do practices start this week, or do we get like a buffer period? Kind of like stream of consciousness. She sends like 8 messages, but only gets like 2 points across.
Yeah. Lexi actually probably replies back at like 2 a.m.
Nice.
And is like, no worries. Pretty much everything is on hold until after the Memorial Festival. So everybody, I think there's word about like people like forced volunteering or voluntelling. Happening from the school towards the festival.
She sends like 1,000 thumbs down emojis and goes, I'm not doing that.
And she's just like, kind of same old deal. But yeah, we're clear until after the festival. And then also, what's the point? There's nobody else that's going to be better than us, so we should just do
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
And then we'll just doesn't eat in the morning. She'll find something at lunch if she needs to.
Yeah, so I think after the night, Asher actually gets you up super early, like before Mother Jeanette, and is just like, let's just go. And he like puts you on the back of his bike, and you and him like sit in like this little quaint you and him drive over to Rise and Grinds, which is the coffee shop in town.
This is actually perfect. I want to get to school a little bit early. I'm gonna tell Asher this. Like,
okay, cool.
It's Callum's first day at school. You know what this means, right?
I do know what that means.
I found out what locker he has. Let's go.
Cool. Did you? No, I'm gonna let you find out. Never mind.
Oh no.
That's what Asher says. Okay. So yeah, you and Asher sit down. He like gets you like some coffees. Probably like as you're sitting there, you're having like a little breakfast sandwich or something like that. Somebody comes up a little after, like drops a bag off for Asher. Asher kind of just like shakes their hand and then pulls out or points to something on the back of his bike that is just like almost right beside you, because you're just like pulled up on the sidewalk kind of a thing. And they pull a little bag off the back of his bike, and they kind of give Asher a nod and take off.
It's 7 a.m, my guy. Do you ever not work?
Well, I don't sleep, so why not?
I guess. Damn. How's business these days?
Business is okay. I got... and then as he's kind of saying, like, business is okay, he looks at his phone, and he was like, did you check in on your buddy Aiden?
No.
And then he shows you his phone with, like, Aiden asking for up.
Nice.
And he was like, I want to check on him.
Why? He's cool now. I think he's fine.
Yeah,
if anything, he was a little bit boring before all of this stuff started to happen. Do you want me to give it to him? I'll give it to him so that you don't have to talk to my friends.
You're a lovely person. I don't understand why I would be so upset with talking to your friends.
No, I don't want you to talk to my friends. This has nothing to do with me and everything to do with the fact that you're my
shame.
brother.
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
Course.
How dare you have such a cool brother?
Not the word that I would use, but sure, I guess.
Sure. You can give it to Aiden.
Thank
yeah,
you.
and then just pay me back, and then he tells you the amount.
Yeah.
Yeah, just get me back at the end of the day, no problem, or whatever. It's good.
Yeah, I'll give it to you at home.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you not coming home tonight?
Well, I kind of prefer not, but
Okay, I'll e-transfer you the different, like, I'll e-transfer you the money. I'll cash app you. I'll Venmo you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that'll work. If it's from you, that'll work.
As names as possible.
If it's from you, that'll work. That's fine. But yeah, I'm not feeling it tonight, and I think I can get away with it as long as I keep my head down, and then Tuesday dinners.
She'll be fine until Tuesday.
Yeah. So I'll check in on Tuesday, and I need some books from my room, but
I can get that.
Anyway, I'll do that. Yeah, actually, could you do that?
Yeah. I'll get them for you.
Yeah. That'd be diggity dope.
You're such a dork. Why? No, this is why I don't want you talking to my fucking friends. What did you just say?
I said diggity
She,
dope.
throws part of her croissant at him. Shut up.
And he immediately eats the croissant.
Yeah.
And you both finish your breakfast, climb on the back of the bike. And it's very I say bike, it's not like this fine motor, it's like an off-roading dirt bike kind of bike. Like big old shocks and big old tires, and it's ready to kind of take some shit going. Yeah. There's a lot of unmarked paths and rough terrain out here, as well as just he wouldn't even been able to get to the plateau without the ability to take some rough terrain. So yeah, you pile on the back, you drive, you get a text from Mother Jeanette that says, "I certainly hope you are going to your first day." And you pull up, and I think because you said you were early and you left early, it's the teachers are arriving kind of a thing. It's very early bird. They just unlocked the door. You see Sal, one of the janitors, kind of there, that always this sweet older guy, early to mid 60s, kind of seems "Oh, Catherine, brand new year,
Yep.
eh?"
She hikes her bag further on her shoulder and gives him a 2-finger salute and is like, "New year, new me, Sal," and then just carries in,
just like the year
She's
before.
Yeah. And then beelines for Callum, her younger brother's locker.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, you're well before anybody. Lilith probably isn't even awake yet.
I would like to put the most heinous, I don't know, something, I'm an only child, but something heinous to make his first day at school worse. Like a stink bomb, or an embarrassing photo of him when he was a child, just posted up on the front of his locker. I just want to make his first day at school a little bit worse.
Great. It's great. It's very,
Just
very, very lovely.
Yeah.
Which would you prefer, the stink bomb or the picture?
I think the stink bomb. I think it's a stink bomb, and I think, or it's just his locker unloads a entire can of the nastiest Axe body spray that she could find on him. I think she's "Happy first day, make a good impression."
Yeah, Black Panther Axe or something. I don't know if
Just,
that's an actual scent, but that sounds
overpowering.
like the. What's the Anchorman cologne that is vile and makes people want to die?
That definitely that. Just a whole can of it. Yeah.
Panther stink or something it's called.
Nasty. Yeah. That's what she's gonna do first thing in the morning.
Cool. Paul Rudd, what a treasure. Or is it Sex Panther? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It's Sex Panther.
It's Sex Panther, yeah. Oh, Paul, I love you. Okay, so yeah, you set that up, and is there anything you want to do with the extra, or actually, 1 second. Let's see if there's a move that would be appropriate. Let's do a shut someone down. Feels like you're shutting your brother down pretty aggressively. And just a quick segue, moves are kind of the actions that are done in Monsterhearts and many of the Powered by the Apocalypse games. And they're kind of like the things you do to interact with the scenario and add that gambly luck side of things to see how well you achieve a goal.
I rolled a 9. So
mixed success?
Mixed success. I come across poorly. I think that is a given.
Okay.
Given
so
what she is doing to her younger brother.
Yeah. While you're doing that, I think yeah, you're doing it. You're setting it up probably in plain view of like the school security camera and 100%. Everything. But as you're setting it up, you accidentally pre-trigger it and you reek of Axe body spray as well.
If Asher is with me and he goes to say something, I'm like, shut up. No, I don't want to hear it. The little shit is trying to take my initials from me. I haven't graduated yet. This is the least that he deserves. Okay?
Today is going really well.
I smell like shit now.
Oh, you want to go to
my locker? Yeah, I'm gonna go to my locker and change into my a rugby shirt or something.
Yeah, you can also go to like the rugby showers or something like that.
Oh yeah, I'll shower.
Is that shirt washed that you left in your locker?
Fuck no! It's like a summer just spent in a bowl at the back corner of her locker. Disgusting.
So
she's
like,
not a good person. Yeah.
Aged like patina de bio.
Exactly. So yeah, she's gonna go shower and then change. But it's not that she knows enough to. Is that true? I think she puts on like a shirt that she found at the bottom of her bag. Like she'll like sniff the one in her locker and be like, okay,
I'm gonna give you due to this a -1 forward to turn someone on.
Oh God! I'm coming to school in a couple of hours. Love it. And Fatima.
Then you have to. You're gonna have to find a way to counteract that somehow. Or you just hit on the first person you see as soon as it goes away.
Quick, I need to get this out of my system.
Also, can we just acknowledge that you called it the rugby showers?
The rugby showers. We have different showers for every sport at this school.
Yeah. We are clearly like very hip and with it.
All funded by the Hallows, of course.
All funded by the Hallows.
Naturally.
Yeah. Little Hallows insignia above each shower stall.
I'm just laughing because I'm like, yeah, I know nothing about sports or anything. I would call it the rugby showers as well.
I learned so much about rugby in preparation for this game.
I didn't, as the person who's going to be playing rugby, so
that's okay.
Hey.
Okay, so yeah, you do that. You're in the showers when you start hearing people start coming in and going in. You get a text from Lexi that is like, "Hey, Imra and I just showed up. Let me know if you want to do something for class or blah 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 blah. Touch base." It's at this point that the bus is probably pulling up with everybody, and Aiden, you're probably timing that you're arriving on bike kind of at the same time. Like, get off the bus with Fatima. You're still like continuing your conversation about the summer and everything like that. You see Aiden like pulling up on the bike. What's kind of your go-to on your first day?
I'll give Aiden a kind of like a wave just to sort of gauge if, you know, Aiden was an old friend but is obviously super cool now, and so I'm not really sure where that leaves me. So just sort of putting a toe in the water kind of wave.
Waves back.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you want to do anything, Graham, before you start your class, before you head to your first, your homeroom?
I think just, find North American school question. Do you keep your lockers between the year?
I'm going to say yes.
I mean, like, no, but yes.
Yeah, we
like,
did.
I'm
Not
going to say
really.
yes because I did not go to high school.
Yeah. We are the right people to be playing this
We are the right people.
Don't know
I had
about
to
rugby,
Google, or I
high
had to
school.
ask everybody if like PA systems were still a thing in schools.
They just text you the announcements instead.
Every school has a technique.
Honestly, it would probably be more effective. You just follow the school on Twitter or on Mastodon. Yeah, so I'm gonna say you keep your keep your locker for. Actually, I think my school did. I think my school you had your locker for your whole term.
Sure. Yeah, I'll just stash my stuff and hit the class.
Cool. Yeah, so you do that. Aiden, you pull up on the bike, you get a wave from Graham. Anything you're kind of doing?
I think just mostly trying to avoid people getting inside as quick as possible, to not have to deal with people staring at me, which they might do anyway.
Yeah, and I think as you're coming in, people are kind of like, even as you're trying to breeze past, there are some whispers going like, "Hey, is that kid? Yeah, oh my god, yeah." This is what the ASMR mic is for. Yeah, okay. So you have people that are like, "Yeah, is that kid?" Blah blah blah. You hear some people mutter "killer kid" as it's kind of going along. As you kind of like are brushing past, trying to get through the gauntlet, you do kind of bump into somebody, and they're kind of like, "Oh, Aiden, hey, are you okay?" And it's Hannah, your friend.
Hey, just trying to get to class.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, it's probably going to be a day for you. So, like, I got you. Just try to keep cool and maybe don't start fights this time. And, like, we're just going to get through it, okay? Like, it's going to be, like, a week or two, and then everybody's going to die down. It's not going to be a thing, okay? Just like, you got to get through the first couple of weeks.
Great. Yeah, thanks. Just give me a sec. I got to stop by my locker.
Yeah, sure thing.
I think when he gets to his locker, there's probably a bunch of shit in there from the previous year. Like, I think like old notebooks and stuff, and he's just gonna grab it all and just trash it, like throw it in the garbage. Just like previous year's stuff. I feel like there's probably also notes that he would have passed to Kira and like received from Kira in there, and like that like movie moment of it falling out as he grabs stuff, he crumples it up and like throws it in with the trash as well.
Okay, cool. You do that. Everything's kind of set. You go in. There is assigned seating at Hallows High. So you have a little name tag on your seat that you immediately go to. I think you make a note that the whole back row is like Lilith and Lilith's cronies, and you're kind of like, it's assigned seating, but like they all get to sit together kind of a thing, and you're like, it must be nice to have your family's name on the school.
If I can, I imagine that if Aiden used to sit near the front, and if his name tag is near the front where they would expect to place him, he's going to move it towards the back. If that's,
I love that. So you just like grab your name tag from one of the front desks and just swap it with a name that you don't recognize, Samantha Quinn, and you put it to the front, and you sit down.
If Graham's already there, he'll definitely be like, "Hey, I don't think you're allowed to do that.
what are they going to do?
Like detention and stuff."
I just swapped a name tag. It's not a big deal.
Cool.
How are you doing?
Oh yeah, yeah, pretty good. Pretty crazy. Crazy summer, right? Are you okay?
you know, yeah,
I mean, dumb question, I guess.
family's being weird, you know. My sister came back to, like, live with us. She's just crashing in her old room. I mean, it's nice to see her, but I feel like she doesn't want to let me out of her sight.
Huh. It's weird.
Yeah.
My sister's home from college, and I feel like she just can't wait to get rid of me, so... But yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. Gonna try not to, you know, try not to fight anyone today.
Yeah. Hey, I got your back, though. I mean, well,
Yeah?
I'll try. Yeah.
All right. I'd like to see that.
Yeah. Okay.
So as you're kind of bantering, in the front of the school, you hear the revving of a very powerful engine as it screeches into the parking lot. And Lilith, you pull into your parking space. You have about 10 minutes to get to class. Andrea is beside you, kind of like a little anxious, but like trying to be cool.
I'm just gonna take my time. I'm in no rush. Just like strutting to class.
Cool. Yeah, you're strutting to class. Kind of as you approach, or CJ, when do you get to class? You probably get to class.
Yeah. I think I can hear the revving of engines as she's like hopping into jeans and like putting her stuff on, and she's like, I know what this sound is. So she gets back to her locker in time to be like pulling a shirt on over her sports bra as Andrea and Lilith like come in. She's got this down to an art. And so
beautiful.
she's like pulling a shirt on and
Can
like,
I
looks
get
over her shoulder.
a turn someone on, please?
I'm doing this with a -1, but that's fine.
Your scent carries.
Yeah. Oh no. Ooh, but I rolled really well. So that's a 9 with the -1 already.
With the -1, 9. So turn someone on. 7 and 9. You give a string or choose one of the following reactions.
Ooh. Can I choose to make Lilith awkward and embarrassed? Like, she can recover, but I want that to have been for Lilith and not for Andrea.
You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This game is great.
This game is so good. So Lilith, you're like all in your power. You're like strutting. You're like walking with Andrea. Andrea's like, you know,
Calvin Klein sports bra. It's gotta be said.
Let's all just try to compose ourselves. So yeah, Lilith, you're like walking. You're in your power. This is your domain. You're here to rule. Andrea is like doing that thing where she's like trying to walk quickly because she's kind of worried about the time, but then she's not wanting to walk past you, and you're walking like in this stride, so she's like falling back and then hurrying up and then falling back and then hurrying up kind of a thing. And you turn the corner, full stride, your hair kind of flows back, and you see CJ just like mid-applying their shirt. You can see their full
Muscles
side,
rippling.
the Calvin Klein, their whole muscles, rugby, strong physique kind of going on as they put it down. And you full stop. And you can't even control your face or mouth as you're just aghast at her in this moment.
Morning, Andrea.
like, whole thing. Oh, hey, CJ. Good to see you. Good, yeah. I mean, hi.
Hi. Do you want to walk to class together?
Well, Lilith and I are like kind of going. So
Like, look at Lilith. We can all go together.
Yeah. Let's go together.
Great. Closes the locker, heads on him.
Cool.
I love making Lilith uncomfortable. So much fun.
Lilith's like sweating.
Oh my god.
Profusely.
That's so beautiful. I'm gonna take away that -1 forward now, because that was just choice. I loved that. Now your scent is actually just building as part of the whole experience. And you arrive at the front door, and you see Raina and Georgia are like on either side of the door frame, as the three of you are kind of walking up, and then Raina and Georgia are kind of like looking at each other, kind of going like, "What's okay? Hey, Lilith, how you doing?"
Hey.
Hey.
Is she still like flustered at this point, or like, are we okay now?
It's however you are. You did have that reaction. It was very blatant.
Oh, okay.
But however you feel like she would kind of be. She's definitely like still thinking of like CJ's rippling muscles a little bit, but.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like a thing that like kept going. Okay, so I think like she'll have her moment of like sweaty hot, like oh my god, and then she's gonna like cool it down. So when she sees
or how about roll a keep your cool then?
Ooh, okay, that's a good one. Okay, let's see. Please. 6, 7, 8, 9.
9. Okay, 9 is solid. On a 7 and 9, the MC will tell you how your actions would leave you vulnerable, and you can choose to back down or go through. Okay, so you can address your team and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm good," but there's going to be like a quaver in your voice. Like you're going to be like, "I'm good," but it's not going to go through, and CJ is going to know that she got to you. Mm-hmm. So right now, it's like you know how you feel. Mm-hmm. CJ doesn't know if it's landed. If you like address people, you're gonna be like seem cruel and cold to your friends, kind of a thing, a little bit. But you won't reveal to CJ that you're like affected.
Yeah.
But if you go to like greet your friends, so it's like you either have a choice of like kind of upsetting your friends a little bit, or letting CJ know that she may have gotten to you a little bit.
Oh, we are upsetting the friends. Nobody can know, baby. Nobody can know. So then I'll just like look and just walk straight through into the class.
And then everybody kind of like looks around, and Andrea is in this super awkward position where she just kind of like looks to the side and like makes eye contact with CJ. And you don't see this, Lilith, because you walk through, but Raina and Georgia, I think, see like a noticeable flush in Andrea's face. And then she looks back and rushes after Lilith. Lilith, with your keep your cool, you're still managing to keep your strings on everybody. Raina and Georgia are like super hurt and kind of like a little scared. And Lilith is like quite scared, mixed with like what you were feeling a second ago. And you're kind of like, Andrea, yeah. So it's like, you're kind of like, well, I saw that too, and I was feeling that too. So it's like, of course you're feeling that. Like, oh my God, CJ. But she's also scared as well as everybody else is.
Can I might have to do a move, but like, can I like detect if it's the same sort of feeling that Andrea got when she got that message in the car?
Ooh, I love that. And I do want to make it a move, but I don't know.
So I think for streaming, if it says if I want to hear specific thoughts, I can gaze into the abyss about it and add
do
one
that
to
then.
Roll.
Yeah, do that.
Oh, we gon' gaze. Okay.
We gon' gaze.
What does it look like for Lilith gets into the abyss?
That's a good question. Do you like pull out your pocket mirror or something like that? Like check your lipstick or something?
Yes. Ooh, we gotta go put my lip gloss on. Yeah. That's what it's gonna be. Okay. Roll with dark. Oh shit. I have a -1 on dark. No. I rolled a 3 with a -1 is a 2.
Is a 2. Okay, so when you gaze into the abyss, name what you're looking for and roll with dark. 7 and 9, the abyss shows you confusing images.
It's just a straight DM move, I think. MC.
It's just an MC move.
You good.
So I think when you flip open your what do you like, your lip gloss and your little pocket mirror, and you're kind of going through,
Yeah.
you actually see, almost as if it's actually projecting on the mirror, that same scene with CJ, and like almost like slow-mo of her like going, and then your mind is completely washed with this idea of CJ, and then instead of like putting on her top, she's like taking it off, and you can feel her power kind of on you. And then you flash back to that moment by the river and that conversation you had and that kind of like beat of your heart and that up skip. And you're just like washed with this when you hear, "Hello, class! Welcome to your first day!" And Mr. Singh is standing up front. Big, brawny guy, this like fuchsia purple turban, big beard, and he's like, "Hello everybody, welcome to your first class. You have the great privilege. I'm an English teacher. I can speak, it's fine. You have the great privilege of having homeroom with me." So we have a few like businessy things and logistical things to get done off the top of the hat. You all found your assigned seats, and then he takes a moment to see where Aiden is, and then he looks at the new thing, and he was like, "Or whatever seats." And I'm glad everybody is here. I see some new faces, but I wanted to take a moment to recognize a new face. And although it might be awkward and uncomfortable to be put forward in front of a class that you don't know, I'm going to do it because it is a good way to start the conversation, to be like, "Hey, Mr. Singh was a dick because he put me in front of the class," and then what a great way to get to know people. So I'm going to introduce you to a Miss Samantha Quinn, who will be joining this whole school for the first time. And I think it's a good opportunity to see. And you see this woman, she's like 5'6", 5'7", side shave with like some etchings in her side shave, and like style. Megan's immediate reaction.
It was the fact that Cal saw me react and then was like, "Keep it in your fucking pants."
So she has this side shave, hairstyled over with light purple fringes that kind of like go through. So it's like little purple comb that kind of goes through the side, like her hair fall. I know words for hairstyles. It's fine. I'm painting a word picture. And she's wearing like this pretty battered like leather jacket that has been kind of through the mill. She has like this soft low cut blouse and like ragged jeans and everything like that. She's like, "Do you want me to say something?" Or it's like, if you want to sit down, cool. If you want to introduce yourself, I said you were Samantha Quinn, but if you want to say something about yourself, this is all on you, and I'm sorry. And Samantha's like, "Okay, sure. I'm Samantha Quinn. I go by Sammy. Family just moved here. Cool." And she sits down. He's like, "I love that. That's fantastic. What a great person to get to know, and will definitely make your life better." I know, well, we all know. Well, sorry, Sammy, you probably don't know. But we are starting with, I'm going to go a little light this first 2 weeks. Because I know we have the Memorial Festival coming up, and I know many people's times are going to be pulled away from class schedules and things like that. I personally think it is incredibly rude and inappropriate to give first week quizzes and exams when you're obviously going to be distracted with other things. I understand that. I respect that. So,
You're here.
Thank you, CJ.
Cheers from the backseat.
Always been my best ally. and Asher in the front of the row, which just kind of like snuck in while everybody wasn't really, just kind of like chuckles as CJ's like, here. And he was like, always love to have an attentive audience. So we're going to go pretty easy. One thing that we're going to talk about. So today we're going to go over specifically 1984. And I'm going to do a reading of the first chapter. I'm going to say a dramatic reading of the first chapter because I got chops. Mr. Singh got chops. So I'm going to do a dramatic reading of the first chapter. And then we're going to start talking about that and kind of engaging with the subject matter. And then over the next 2 weeks, we're going to talk about the book as a whole, and hopefully we'll get through it all. I will be reading sections, so you don't have to worry about going home and finishing a whole book while you have a whole bunch of things to do. We're going to go through it together, and we're going to walk through it together. It's going to be great. That's going to be our first 2 weeks, okay? So nobody worry, nobody stress. At the end of that, I will want a written report, but that will be the following week that we will be doing that. Right now, what I want for the first week is I want you all, before we start with 1984 and all this stuff, I want you all to come to me at the end of the week with a book that you personally love, that has affected you in a powerful way, some way. It can be, yes, CJ.
Can you define a book? Can it be like a comic book?
Absolutely.
Or like an audio book?
Absolutely.
Like a video game with a lot of text?
I will accept a video game, but you will have to sell me to the narrative value of that game. All right?
Gotcha.
You can make it Tekken, but you have to freaking sell me on Tekken. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are plenty of, like, I remember when I was growing up, people were like, hey, you don't read enough. And I was like, I played Final Fantasy IX. I read 80 hours of content. All right, step off. So yes, a story. Maybe CJ, you're right. Bring with me a story that has affected you powerfully, and then the next week, second week, we're gonna go in like, hey, yeah, if it's Final Fantasy or something like that, play some Final Fantasy again and try to remember why those emotions were stirred and kind of how it affected you. And then I want you to write a little essay on why it's powerful, why it affected you, how it had impact. And that's going to be our week 2. So pretty light. I want to focus on like, yeah, what you want, what you do. I'm going to say up front, as CJ kind of broached it, it might be fun to be like, yeah, I'm going to go with Tekken and Tekken's going to be great. Tekken is a much harder sell than like a child picture book or something like that, right? Like, to make Tekken like a narrative nuanced thing that affected you powerfully takes so much more overhead and work than just picking something else. It might look like the nice thing. It will be harder. And I'm just going to say that off the front, okay? But yeah, I just want to know like some of the stories that really affected you and grew you. If there's nothing else, if anybody has any concerns about kind of what I've broached, what this first couple weeks will be like, let me know now. Bueller, am I dating myself? Am I? Okay, cool. And then he goes into I'm going to say, pretty spot on dramatic telling of 1984. Does anybody do anything in this first class while everything's going? Anybody kind of pulled into anything or anything happening? Anybody texting or?
I would like to text Asher and be like, what do you know about the new girl? Tell me everything. And then I will also send that message to like Lexi and to like as many people as I know in my circle of friends.
Everybody categorically replies, I don't know.
You guys are useless. Useless. And then I'll like, she's too far away to send a note to. And
then after you say useless to Asher texts you. He was like, it looks like you're going to have that axe go to work.
Fuck. I showered. I smell fine now. Jerk.
You keep telling yourself that. How would I have helped in the shower?
No, you could have stood in front of the axe spray like a good older brother and saved me.
You said you didn't want anything to do with me around your friends.
I don't.
And you're continuing this conversation. What is everybody else kind of?
Do I know, like, the Quinn, like, last name? Would I know anything about them? That family? No. Okay. Then I'll text Thorin and Burke, and I'll be like, the Quinns. What do we know? Question mark. That's it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, they won't get back to you right away.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then
they don't bow before the queen the same way other people do.
No, I'm their little shit sister. Of course they know. And the one other thing I'll do too, like kind of in the middle, like not like after I get over my like sweat like from CJ a little bit, I'll like just write my number on a note, give it to Georgia to give it to Aiden.
Okay, cool. So Aiden, as you're sitting there, how are you taking in 1984? And...
well, he's read it before, you know, so he probably read it last year in preparation for knowing that he was going to be reading it this year.
Yeah, which is fair. Like, Mr. Singh definitely talks about 1984 probably a little too much every year. Like, he's probably like, I know there's other books and there's other great content. Everyone needs to know this because they need to be watching for it.
And he needs to rehearse his dramatic reading.
And he has to rehearse his dramatic reading, absolutely.
Since I'm sitting next to Troy, is he like, what's he doing? Is he like staring at me? Is he avoiding any kind of eye contact?
He is heads down, not even really absorbing 1984. He's just writing down things that you can't really make out. And he's just trying to not pay attention to the fact that you were assigned next to him. And he's just kind of like head down. Every so often, he'll look past you towards Lilith. And if you want to like pull his eye to you, you can. But if you're just trying to let sleeping dogs lie, he'll just try to ignore you and move on.
I think if he's like trying to avoid eye contact, I might try to like, because now he's in a position of, I guess, less status, so it could be fun to try and fuck with that, to show that I've kind of like moved into his spot. But like, I don't think doing anything overt at this point until the phone number comes, and then I'll kind of make sure he sees me receiving it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think after, like, when he was looking back, he probably saw Lilith, as he's been, like, probably every 30 seconds to a minute has been, like, looking back to Lilith. And he sees Lilith writing something, and then he's like, oh, God, what is she writing? Oh, my God. And then sees Lilith pass it to Georgia, and he's like, oh, my God, is she passing it to me? Is Lilith going to say something to me? Oh, my God. And then Georgia, like, mimes to pass it to Raina, who's behind Troy, but then leans forward to pass it to Aiden. And Lilith is just like, choice. And then kind of taps you on the back, and you kind of like grab it, and you see a number. What does the note say? Is it just your number, Lilith, or is it like anything else? Any kind of flourishes?
Just my number.
Does it say your name, or is it just
purple
a
gel
number?
pen?
Like, do I know who it's from?
No, it's just a number. Yeah, literally purple gel pen.
Oh my God, the gel pens.
Okay,
cool.
Right,
Yeah,
I'm gonna, I guess, take it. Look at Georgia. Like, what is that? What's this? And
yeah, so Georgia just kind of like gives you a nod, like is just like, use it, dude.
Okay. I'm gonna look over at Troy, fold up the note, and just put it in my pocket for now.
Can I get a shut someone down?
Yeah. That is cold. Okay. Ooh, that's terrible. 2.
So you kind of like have this like over snarkily kind of like, hey, look what I got kind of a thing. And you see like a flash of red in Troy's eyes. And he just full on loses himself and jumps. And in the classroom. With a 2 in that moment and a smug grin, getting a number from his ex. And Troy has already exhibited that he is not great at emotional control. Immediately starts going. So everybody's talking, everybody's going. All of a sudden, there's this clamor of desks and chairs, and everything's going. Raina and Georgia immediately like stand up and go back against the wall. The chairs are like flying now. Can I get a lash out physically, or what do you want to do? You don't have to lash out physically, but he is beating the shit.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna defend myself. I'm gonna hit back. This didn't work so well for me. Like he did not like at the fight that started at the party. He was pretty much in control of that. So this time, I think I'm going to try and use one of my moves, or sorry, my infernal moves or bargains. One of the bargains, the power flows through you, where I can give the dark power a string in order to add 2 to my next roll. And I guess I'm gonna try to just throw him off of me, like with some like surge of brute strength.
Cool.
Lash out physically is volatile. Oh my!
Oh, roll really well.
Oh
damn it! I wanted you to roll so well.
Ones.
Oh fuck!
+2 for 4.
Can CJ like? Is it gonna help? Like, is there like a? Can I? CJ would. Yeah, never mind.
No, there's not. There's no help back. You can lash out physically after, and do something separately, but there's no like help action.
Right. Well, I gave the dark power another string for no reason.
So you kind of like. So I think you're on the ground. You're getting like the shit kicked out of you, and your brain kind of goes back because you haven't had any kind of. Like, you didn't sit down and say, like, oh, here's the contract I'm making. Like, you kind of tucked that away as, like, a dream with your interaction with the dark power and everything like that. So I think as he's jumping at you, you kind of go serene for a moment, and then you feel yourself falling back. You almost feel like it's slow motion, and you're, like, calling out to something, and you hear a voice come in that's just kind of like... And then you hit the ground and you start getting like the shit kicked out of you and it starts hurting, and you're kind of in this weird mindset as this like chaos and everything's happening of like how like it's the first time you're like, was that a dream? It's the first time you're like, because you, it's not like, oh, in the back of your head you heard a voice. You like heard somebody speaking in your ears. It's like a very physical thing that you're like, no, I am fully conscious. I'm not out of it at all. And I heard somebody speaking to me right now. And that's the first time that you're then brought back to that situation where you're sitting with that man in that room. And before you woke up from that dream, and I think a sinking feeling hits your stomach when you're like, what did I do? As you're starting to get pummeled, take one harm. As Mr. Singh comes in, he's like, now. And then he pulls up Troy, like by the collar. And like, you can see, like everybody can see Mr. Singh. He's like in his like, you know, business casual attire, nice dress shirt, like a purple dress shirt with like a little like on his breast, like an embroidered rose kind of on it. And he just like picks Troy up and he was like, first days can be hard, but we can't be doing this. This is not a good way to approach a situation. Troy, I'm going to need you to go to the principal's office. Aiden, please, I'm sorry. And he gets up. And then as that happens, you hear the PA click on, and it goes,
Mr. Aiden Coleman, please come to the principal's office. Somebody from the sheriff's department wishes to speak with you.
I can't believe they fucking said that over
That
the PA.
PA system.
is the end of episode 1. Thank you all for joining us for our first episode. And I know, what bastard. Honestly, I was thinking about this beforehand, because I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, these bastards definitely would, and it's such a shitty thing to do.
Well, like, even if it didn't, if you're a teenager, it would feel like that, right? Like, it would be so humiliating.
Yeah.
You know what everyone's about to say anyway. So.
Oh my god.
Finally got him.
Yeah, so that's all happening, and then we'll come back later, and we'll talk about like what everybody's reaction was in that moment as Aiden is being carried off, because it was very abrupt. Because I think CJ was like ready to throw down and stuff, but as everybody was moving in, yeah, it was like this was like
I'm sorry.
This was like under 6 seconds that this all happened, right? Like Mr. Singh, he's good. He's on top of it. He's a good teacher. Okay. Yeah, all right. Let's. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Tune in next week.